Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to The Big Show, The Big 3 DFS Show! As always, joined by the money man, Adam Wagner, and the man from the bottom of the Mason-Dixon line, Christopher Sweet. What's up, gentlemen?
Al Walsh, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing all right, NBA DFS did not go as planned today, but listen, we're here to talk some football. That's what's been working for everyone.
For you guys. I've had a decent season so far, but not as well as you guys.
I was just going to lie and say it was working for everybody.
Well, I'm an honest man for the most part. I'm not honest when I'm talking to girls, but
I shouldn't say really. Well, why do you even talk to girls anymore? You're married.
It was a punchline.
I guess.
Didn't go so well.
What is? Sweet, what's going on with you there in Bmore, all bundled up?
Fellas, I'm just getting ready for Winter Storm Jonas Brothers ready to come through the D.C. area here. Supposed to get about 1 billion inches of snow. But just kidding, because I'm actually getting on an airplane Friday morning, getting the hell out of this area. So
where are you going?
I'm going to warmer pastures, well, a little bit warmer, Central California. So you can only be so happy for me, and it's actually for a memorial service. So
my condolences.
Indeed.
And it's a couple months back. Rest in peace of Dr. Van T. Sweet, my grandfather.
Rest in peace, Sweet.
Raise one. Cheers. Now, yeah, I got some good apple cider whiskey going tonight. It's pretty good. Only a little bit, only a little some. Now, we are at the conference championship stage of the NFL season right now. That means there's only 2 chances left, 2 dances left of romance for you to get that money this weekend. So, Wags, what do you think the most important thing to consider is this week?
I think you really have to break down the matchup. I think you have to look in depth to matchup versus the man. Like, who's going to be playing Gronk? Who's going to be is Gronk going to be, your number one? Is he your number one tight end that's going to get the catches? Maybe, or is Olsen going to have a better matchup without Matthew in that?
Or do you screw everybody and go with both?
Quite possible. Could you back him up with the flex? That was a good point. That was my next way to allude to it, brother.
Can you afford it?
Can you afford it? Can you get him in there? Chances are, you're going to be taking, a top end quarterback. You're going to have to pay up. I can't put stock in a quarterback that's going to maybe get me 15 points. You're going to need a quarterback that's going to get you that 20. And I think there's only 2 on the board this week, just based off of my breakdown of the games. And you're really going to have to maximize on your combinations between your quarterback and wide receivers to differentiate yourself from the pack somewhere. It's a smaller window, as you just mentioned. So it's a hit or miss field, and that's what I love the most, man. The margin for error is slim to none. It's pretty much the perfect lineup. So all these people that like to put in all these maximum 50 lineups per contest or whatever, you're going to be putting in a multiple entry, a duplicate entry, so to speak, for some of these lineups.
Well, I would say, this is the week. I always do the single entry because, I'm not dealing with you a-holes out there. But, you definitely want to try some 50-50s, maybe some head-to-heads. Just whatever. Just blow your whole bankroll this week. Let it fly.
For sure.
Just let
Absolutely,
it go.
man.
Sweet. What do you think about all this?
Well, the biggest thing that jumped out to me is that there's only 2 tight ends to pick from unless you really want to just get crazy, because after those 2 high-priced guys, there's nothing out there, fellas. Arizona doesn't use a tight end, and Peyton Manning used to use a tight end when he was good, but they don't really, they don't use a consistent tight end in Denver anymore.
No.
So You kind
Which
of got
is
to pay for
shocking
one of
because
the two guys.
I thought the move for getting
BD.
Jordan Davis out there to
Yeah.
Denver was to implement another Julius Thomas in that offense for Peyton, but it
I thought
hasn't
Peyton was
happened
going to
yet.
spread that VD into the end zone, but
Yeah, not
didn't work
yet.
out. So I think the other big thing that jumps out to me is you said two quarterbacks. I think there's three quarterbacks that everyone's going to own, and it's picking the right guy. I think that's like three card money. You got to pick the right card, or you're going to be SOL this weekend, fellas.
Right. Well, obviously we're leaving Peyton out. He can't come into
Sorry,
the tree.
Peyton.
Yeah,
We
he's
gave
not
you half a
invited.
chance.
You're not coming into our clubhouse, our tree house.
You're not invited to the pizza party,
Nah.
old man.
Yeah, you
I'll call
go
you
have fun with Papa John and your little dynasty that you got going with JJ Watt. Anyways, you can't come in.
Let me ask you something. If the only pizza that you could ever eat for the rest of your life was Papa John's, would you eat it?
Oh man, hold on. Wait a second. All right. And that's it. Like so,
You could only eat Papa John's.
That's it.
Yeah.
But you can have other foods besides pizza. But pizza that you can have. The only pizza you can have is Papa John's.
Right, and you can't even make your own. Like, you can't even get the Lunchables pizza. You have to get Papa John's pizza, and that is it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Man, I eat too much of that Papa John's as it is. Every time the Wizards score 100 points, it's so easy to just get that 50% off. Bunch of that.
Yeah, I mean, Al, I guess
Peyton Manning money.
I guess I have to. I guess I have to. Papa
Well, you know what you do? You get the extra garlic sauce and then just smother that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
I'd tell you the best pizza I had is when I came up and visited you up in New York, man. Brooklyn, man. Brooklyn, best pie out there, man. Oh my god.
You don't get no better than that. Not at all.
No.
All right, let's stop hungering our listeners. Let us get
hangry
this week.
Hangry.
Now, as always, I guess we can start here with the quarterbacks. Or we can go game by game. Let's go game by game. Let's go game by game. Position by position. We'll go game by game, position by position. How about that?
Yeah.
New wrinkle to the show. All right, so taking a look at the lines here, we'll start it off with the game that's first, and this makes total sense since the West Coast game goes first. So we have New England is the 3-point favorite at Denver. Over-under here is 44.5. 75% of your bets are on the visiting New England Patriots. New England, 166 on the money line as well. So we saw this maybe about a month or two ago. New England went in there to Mile High, lost in overtime. A little bit of scandalous shit that went down there at the end. Kind of allowed the Broncos to get that final score there and send it to overtime, and then eventually the C.J. Anderson run wins it big. Do you see New England winning this, or is there any way in hell that Denver can pull this out?
I don't know what people are talking about here, man. I don't see Denver winning this. That's what I don't see. I don't think Peyton Manning can manage the game long enough to stay afloat with this New England team. I don't think he's going to be able to keep up. I think Tom Brady has his weapons back. Of course, the Patriots are going to be coy all week long, and keep people with injury disclosures, so to speak. Apparently Gronk's dinged up. Their whole lineup's dinged up, right? Yeah, that's how Belichick always is. He never releases that much info. Anyhow, I don't think Denver can stay on the field, man. It looked bad. I thought for last week, a team that I thought Peyton could definitely just take advantage of and sling the ball around and manipulate it. I know the wind was atrocious and whipping all over the field last week, but still, man, the ball coming out of Peyton's arm or Peyton's hand was bad. There was The spiral was off. He was having trouble just planting it and looking there. It looked good for maybe the first half of the first quarter, but other than that, it was done. I don't think that he can hold tight and keep it afloat against New England, man. I think New England gets up early and they start to run the ball a little bit and wears down this Denver defense, and then once that comes into play, I think Tom Brady takes 3-step drops, gets the ball out under 2 seconds, and takes over, man. What do you guys think?
Sweet, go ahead.
Sorry for the longevity of elongating my answer there.
Yeah, well, I think if you're a smart football fan, you're expecting New England to win this football game, and I'm just going to give you a few reasons why they might not, because everything that Adam said. I mean, Brady's got all his weapons back. He's the best quarterback any of us have ever seen play. So here's a few reasons they might. Number one, he's never beaten Peyton Manning on the road in the playoffs before, and he's never won at Denver in the playoffs, losing a couple of games there. He actually lost to Jake Plummer once in the playoffs, if you can believe that, fellas. And I just think that some weird stuff happens in Mile High. If they do win, it'll be one of those games where Brady never gets into a rhythm. Let's not forget how good Denver's defense is. They can take over the game. That's the only reason they won is because they got that play at the end of the last game. They forced that fumble. I mean, I know a lot of Steelers fans out here crying about the dude blowing the game for them, and he's a bum and everything. And I mean, you're playing against the best defense in the NFL. The defense made a play more than he just threw the ball on the ground. So let's give Fitzgerald Toussaint a little break, because he had a pretty nice little playoff run for them, and got them out of that first round with some of his strong play. So I think if Denver does win, it's going to be one of those games where they get Brady into a few mistakes, they hit him all game, and that's a recipe to beat Brady. You got to hit him early and often. Adam knows that better than anyone, because that's what the Giants did in both those Super Bowl wins.
Hey, I watched the game too. I saw what they did. I think this is interesting for a couple reasons. Obviously, I'm going to look at the Vegas point of view with this and the 3-point spread, and yeah, it looks like a simple layup, and those are the ones that end up being the ones where we start banging our heads against the wall. I think C.J. Anderson could be a nice key to this game. He's actually looked pretty good here the last 3 weeks. It's funny because now this week, him and Ronnie Hillman basically traded prices, where Hillman was the guy that was like around 4,400 last week, and CJ was all the way down at 37. Well, Hillman's down at 39 this week. CJ's at 44. So that could be an interesting key to look at. When we're looking at the whole running back picture in general, because both of those main running backs are a little banged up in the Arizona Carolina game, so we'll get to that. But I mean, how could you not like New England? They got Edelman back, they have Gronkowski. I mean, they obviously have the better quarterback right now. Wagner was talking about Peyton Manning and all the ducks that were going on. That wasn't just last week. That's been going on for the last couple of years.
Don't forget, I was the dude that defended Peyton Manning in the beginning of the season, saying "No, he still got it, man. I was wrong, man. I'm wrong." And
I have not forgot.
Guess what? I was blinded last week because I played him. I played him against the 27th ranked. That was what I was alluding to. He was going up against the Steelers. He was going up against the Steelers last week. He should have annihilated that defense. Now, I know Thomas had some drops. I know Sanders had some drops. I don't care. They should have still came back to it. They should have still been able to just rip apart that Steelers secondary, and it didn't happen. He can't deliver. He can't drive home the ball. He can't throw the deep out. He can't make the throws that an NFL quarterback has to make. He is now a mediocre quarterback, which is just sad to see.
Now, the fan in me definitely wants to see Peyton Manning win this game.
Sure, absolutely, man.
But the real human being, the real in me, does not want to see Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl, because it'd be the worst Super Bowl of all time. Next to the other one that he was in.
Yeah, exactly. Next to the one he was just in. Right.
Hey, I'm glad you brought up the whole Peyton Manning narrative, because I want to just say something So if Peyton Manning wins the Super Bowl and goes out on top, that's the worst case scenario because he had a terrible season. And all
What,
anybody will say is he went out
like
on
9
top.
and
He
16,
went out a
right? It's
winner.
like 9 touchdowns and 16 interceptions
God,
or
man,
something
it's
like that.
terrible. Yeah, like he would have thrown like 25 interceptions if he played all the games. Brock Osweiler is the only reason that he doesn't. Though we're not talking about all his interceptions.
Like,
So
I'm not
yeah, I
trying to
mean,
make this a Peyton Manning beatdown, but I mean it's true. Everything you're saying, man.
no, he's a
No,
hell of
we
a
could
player.
do.
He's surefire Hall of Famer, one of the best ever. But yeah, it wouldn't be indicative of the season he had if he went out and
Right.
won the Super Bowl. If he did win the Super Bowl, it'd be all defense because he's not throwing 350 in any of these
No.
games.
Hell
It's just not going to
Hell
happen.
no. Now I'm so upset at myself because when we were saying, hey, how could Denver possibly win? I said, well, if they put Brock Osweiler in, but the moment passed and I
Yeah.
can't say it anymore. All right, so from a fantasy perspective, let's take a look at this. Obviously, Brady overmanning a quarterback. If you think otherwise, you're some sort of magician that sucks and does tricks in a parking lot. Running back, though, who are we giving the advantage to, C.J. Anderson or James White?
Well, I mean, they brought Steven Jackson in for some reason. I don't know why. New England didn't run the ball much at all last week. I think White is just basically getting some hits out of the backfield, getting some targets out of the backfield. I think C.J. Anderson has this down. Now Peyton Manning realizes that he can't rely on his arm anymore. He's got to check down. He's got to look for some mismatches and call for the run. The defense is almost allowing daring him to run. You've seen so many I think they had 4 people almost every play in the secondary dropping back. That's 7 in the box. Sometimes it's 6 in the box when they're playing 5 and daring him to throw it. You got to run here. I got to take C.J. Anderson.
Yeah. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, I think C.J. Anderson's the clear play at running back of both of the games this week. He's just been consistent, more consistent than Hillman. I think Hillman is a fine play as well because we broke it down already. They're gonna try to run the ball as much as possible, and that's what they want to do to win. They want the defense and the running game to carry them to an AFC title. I mean, that's the recipe right there. If Manning's putting the ball up 60 times, we're screwed.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're thinking too. And Elway knows that as well. So
hell yeah.
Well,
he realizes that he can't have Peyton lead him to the promised land like the natural or original thought process was when he came in. However, the thing that it makes me a little reluctant about the Denver running backs this week, and everyone's got a tough matchup this week. I'm not saying that it's just this Denver running back core, but they're going up against a very versatile linebacking core at the New England Patriots, man. So if the offensive line can get down to the secondary or get down to the second level of play and get some of these linebackers blocked, then yeah, I think C.J. Anderson can have a tremendous rushing capabilities and especially wearing them down. Getting these 3-yard runs, 4-yard runs that'll eventually turn into 8-yard runs in the fourth quarter.
All right. Let me make the case for James White. All right. Let's say, New England can't run the ball. Okay. They got to move it somehow. I understand that, Edelman's back. Amendola's in the mix. Gronk. You could do a whole bunch of short passes with those guys. But, listen, Belichick, you've seen him plenty of times come up with some sneaky shit at any point. Mm-hmm. And, James White could be the guy. Now, he is trending down in terms of the amount of touches that he's getting. Majorly. But, they're really only going to go to him if they're down. His biggest game this season was against Philly, 10 catches, $115 with a touchdown. Guess what? They were losing in that game pretty much, the entire second half.
And Brady had nobody there, man.
Right. So, right. Of course it's going to be C.J. Anderson. But, if you want to be a little different and, stray yourself away from the pack, I'm not saying that's going to work for you.
But White's even more expensive, though, isn't he? Which is beyond me.
$200.
Well, yeah. It's just call it what it is, man. But I think CJ. It's like you said, brother. CJ Anderson.
All right. Receivers, we got plenty of them in this game. We got plenty of them on the board this week.
Absolutely.
But we're taking a look. I know, we can do this team by team, guy by guy. But who's got the better duo? Is it going to be Edelman and Gronk, or is it going to be DT and Emmanuel in space?
Christopher, you want to take this, brother? I mean, this is an easy play. I think we're all on the same page here.
Well,
Hey, look, I'm just asking the questions, all right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You're doing great. You're great prompts. Great prompts. I mean,
matchup.
You're setting us up to hit home runs here, kid.
Yeah.
The matchup dictates that the Denver duo is a much better play, but we already broke down why that's not the case here because they've got a dude throwing them the ball that's just not really the connection's not there, whether it be his fault or their fault. I think one of those guys will end up having a good fantasy game. You just got to guess which one. But if you want, guaranteed points, you definitely want Edelman and to a lesser extent Amendola.
Yeah, I like.
I mean, Edelman's the most safe points out there, I think, at the wide receiver position.
Yeah, it's definitely Edelman, especially for PPR. I mean, he's going to get his catches. He got 20-some points last week, and he didn't even get a touchdown. So,
Nah, man. Hey, you just gotta get over 100, baby.
That's it, man. That's all you need, brother. Look, yeah, it's definitely it's the duo of Gronk and Edelman here. I don't think Sanders and Thomas, one, if they get a chance to catch, that many passes, that they'll actually come through and catch the targets that they're given. You saw a lot of drop balls last week. Well, I mean, yeah, about 4 between the both of them. That's still too many, especially in a playoff game. They were very fortunate to come out of that divisional playoff round. Now you're telling me
fortunate.
Extremely, right? Now you're going to tell me you do those same mistakes in a conference playoff game against the New England Patriots and come out of it on top? Not going to happen, man.
Shit.
Stop.
Oh man, I'm so glad I dropped that in the article the other day. That was hilarious. Yeah,
you should have dropped Bunk. You should have dropped Bunk's name.
Again, look, I think if game flow is going to dictate anything, and New England gets up, then Denver's going to have to throw the ball. They're not going to have any other option, but it's going to be all short screen passes and things of that nature.
True.
I guess it could be hard for a wide receiver when you're catching something that's going like this and, moving like a dreidel in the air.
Wow.
Hey, Al, let me ask you a question real quick. You said tempo. Now, do you think if New England gets up, do you think they'll pump the brakes at all, or do you think they'll just keep the throttle going?
I think if it were any other team, I think they would keep running the ball. But since it's Peyton Manning, Brady's trying to kick his ass out of the arena a little quicker.
Right. Well, I see that. Yeah.
Arena, stadium, whatever you will.
I don't think. I don't think they let off the gas at all. I think it keeps going, man.
Oh, look at this. We had a nice game at the Garden tonight.
Yeah, I saw that highlight as well, man. I saw that highlight as well.
Hey,
you know what? Since we got a little break and a little lull in the firefight here, let me break something down. My kid this 8-year-old asked me a great question today on the ride to practice, and I thought I should just forward it to you, to both you guys.
Yes, fake boobs are much cooler.
They are. Now, they might not be the real thing and authentic, but still.
More buoyant.
Okay. Yes, they float. However, question. Now, granted, we're all presuming that it's our favorite teams that we're going to watch in this question, okay? In this dilemma.
Okay.
But if you had a choice of only choosing one, the option was there to choose all, but you could only take one.
Okay.
Which choice would you choose of going to see the Super Bowl, the World Series, the Stanley Cup Final, the World Cup, or the NBA Final?
Oh, that's so easy.
Well,
NBA Finals, but I mean Brooklyn's never getting to the finals, so
okay.
I don't even have to worry about that.
All right, Al's is NBA. Sweet.
Well, I've been to 2 Super Bowls. I haven't been to all those.
Excuse me.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's out of the question.
Having been to a Super Bowl, I'd say there's nothing quite like it. Nothing quite like just the feeling in the air, the spectacle. So I've been to
Well,
some
I'm
playoff
gonna
games.
continue to go to
I
high
was just
school football
cracking
games here in
up.
Texas. Awesome.
Yeah, sweet set the Super Bowl drinking champagne with his pinky
Yeah.
in the air, like.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sir Sweet. What was your
Yeah.
what was your pick there? Let us humble serfs listen.
Yeah, since I've been to two Super Bowls, if we're taking that off the table, since I'm obviously high society and all that, I'd probably say the world. I think World Series, especially if it was a clinching game for the home team, I think that'd be
Oh,
pretty amazing to go to.
I'm with you, partner. I don't know. Me being at a regular Caps game and seeing just how electric it is at the Verizon Center. I initially and now's asleep. Yeah, him and his bolts stay down there. Sweet. You've already been to two Super Bowls. You can go to one for me. I initially said the World Series, with the O's in there, especially in like a Game 7 at Camden, that'd be amazing. And then my son looked at me.
That'd be nuts.
Yeah, my son looked at me and he was just like, only if the O's were in it, but if not, I definitely have to go see the Stanley Cup, go see the Caps play because the Caps can't get past the first round. So
Right.
Yeah, no, they can't. Damn.
we can't, dude. We can't. We're doing great right now, but we'll never get past the first round.
You had the Rangers right where you wanted them last year,
Doesn't matter. It's the Rangers. It's the Rangers.
Great.
and then we had to take
You know
care
how
of
many
them.
3-1 leads have blown? You know how many 3-1 leads the Caps have blown? Too many, man.
Oh my God, they're the worst. They are the absolute worst. All right, nobody
Sorry
cares.
if I got
Nobody
bummed.
cares about hockey. Let's get to the next football game. All right. All right. So the next one we got here: Arizona at Carolina. Carolina is a 3-point favorite. Over under set at 48. Money line on this one: Carolina at minus 156, and 73% of the bets are on Carolina with the -3. So interesting matchup we got here. This was actually a first-round playoff matchup last year, and it was the first game of the playoffs, and we know that because they always put the shittiest of the playoff games on first on the Saturday in the first round.
It was unwatchable, and now it's the best playoff matchup I think that we've had this year.
Oh,
Yes.
I can't wait.
Yeah, for sure.
Ridiculous.
So,
How a year can change.
how the times have changed.
Fellas,
As
I'm gonna
Sweet sits there with his pinky
break
out.
some team numbers down to you real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, Carolina on offense, averaging 31 points per game. Arizona on offense, 30 points per game. Carolina on defense, allowing 19 points per game. Arizona on defense, allowing 19 points per game. Yards per game passing, Carolina yields 239. 231 is yielded through the air for Arizona. 87 yards on the ground for Carolina that they allow, and then that the Cardinals allow 93 yards rushing. Gentlemen, we have ourselves a ball game coming up.
Yes,
I
we do.
cannot wait. That is some of the closest numbers I've seen in a while.
All right, let me kick it in here with the Vegas line. The fact -3, I think that's a pretty telling sign. It's they're just basically saying here the Panthers are the home team. They're gonna have it. I think if the line were, I don't know, maybe like a 4 or 5 or something like that, we could be seeing a slam dunk type play. But I think they're going to give the edge to the Panthers here. However, I like the Cardinals here. I think they're going to get it done in this game. I just think all of Cam Newton's theatrics are going to fall by the wayside this week, and I tend to lean more towards teams that have the momentum. So we know Arizona had to kind of come back from their game. Carolina almost blew it there at the end of their game. Mother momentum rolling with the Cards right now. Or should I say flying with the flock right now.
Flying with the flock. Now we know that this mainly you like this a lot in day-to-day baseball because it affects them more. But I know you always focus a lot on the team traveling, especially if it's cross country. Now granted, these guys, the Cardinals have had some time to rest, and they're coming back to the East Coast, or not back, but they're coming to the East Coast now after a week of preparation. Do you think that'll have any effect on them? Maybe come out sluggish at all? We saw the field a little bit, iffy and just almost unbearable and not really playing well for speed.
Well,
you think that has a factor?
Well, Arizona did have the extra day. I don't think travel is a big deal at this time of the season. I think you have enough time to get out and do what you want to do. Arizona pretty much knew that they were either going to Carolina or staying at home, so I don't think that affects them in any way. But yeah, that was a pretty shitty feel. I mean, everything in Carolina is pretty shitty, so that's how I look at it, except Duke University, of course. But yeah, I mean,
we just lost like 17 viewers.
Oh, wow. You don't like how I talk about Carolina?
No, it's Duke. No, I don't. We don't like how you like Duke.
Man. Bobby Hurley would have had such a good NBA career if he didn't get hit by a car when he was like 20 years old.
He didn't get hit. He fell into a ditch.
I know.
Damn.
Same with Jay Will.
Ladies and gentlemen, the joke of the week.
Jay Will.
Al's been pretty on fire with almost anything he touches, so to speak. We've been looking for some type of flaw, and we found one. He's a goddamn Duke fan.
Oh, you could have just asked. I would have told you what the flaws were.
Oh, man.
I'm an open book around here.
Yeah, it's on its sleeve.
But yeah, back
to
the game.
Are you guys familiar? I'm sorry, real quick. Are you guys familiar with the movie Kingpin?
Yeah,
yeah.
Of course.
Great movie.
It always cracks me up when they're bowling with the father, and he says, "Bowling for money is my only vice," and then he smacks the chick on the ass. He goes, "Two vices," and Bill Murray goes, "That's still very good." By the way, while he's got like a scotch in the rocks on the hand.
Hey, is that
good stuff?
The Coen Brothers film, right?
Farley Brothers. Farley Brothers. Yeah.
Damn good film. But yeah, again, it's Arizona all the way for me in this one. I definitely don't want to see Cam go to the Super Bowl. So.
I mean, I think it would be a really good matchup to see Luke Kuechly on Rob Gronkowski. I think that would be an awesome matchup just to see those two physical beasts go at it. I think they're pretty much the mirror of each other, on defense and offense rather. But yeah, I'm with you, brother. I got Cardinals 32-27 in this game. I just think Arians and Palmer find a way to get it done. I think. Norman's good. I heard Trent Dilfer break down the Carolina defense the other day, and he made some great points. Josh Norman's great. He's had a phenomenal year, but past that front seven of the defense, that secondary is pretty suspect other than Norman. So if they can't get any pressure on Palmer and that offensive line can hold up, you could see, Floyd or Brown, stretching this offense vertically and allowing, Fitzgerald to come underneath, man. What do you guys like? What about the running back situation in this game, guys? I mean, this is, you got the best, arguably the best two in these games running the ball here for both teams in this game. But I mean, you got some dynamite defenses that can contain them.
Sweet, you want to take it?
Yeah, you're right. David Johnson, Jonathan Stewart are definitely the two best running backs left, and they've got probably the two worst matchups. So, I mean, you still got to probably go with one or both of them because there's so few options this week. I think David Johnson, he kind of, he didn't do what everyone wanted him to do last week. I think he's the guy I would look to spend up there. I mean, you can't really save money at running back this week, which stinks because you want to spend up for all the receivers, and that's just one of the problems. But I want to tell you guys what I thought about when I turned on the Cardinals game. I think me, like a lot of people, kind of thought the Cardinals are the favorite in the NFC. I think even though the Panthers are clearly very good, and people still didn't really know that as the season went on. I think a lot of people saw what the Cardinals are doing and kind of just penciled them in. Me too. I kind of thought, all right, well, the Cardinals are, the Panthers haven't seen a team like the Cardinals. Then I started watching the game Saturday night, and I thought, hey, this is like Carson Palmer's third playoff game ever, and he doesn't have any wins yet. And he didn't look very good on Saturday night, fellas. Yeah, they got it done when they needed to, but he threw, as that game went on, like in the second quarter, I was just like, man, the Packers are going to win this game. This is like had the recipe for everything that divisional round play road team going in and getting the big upset. It had all the keys to, all the ingredients for that recipe. End zone interceptions by Palmer, a freaking Hail Mary at the end, and they're very lucky to have escaped. They're very lucky to have escaped that game.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think not to cut you off. I'm sorry to do that, but I think that the Cardinals just have more of the weapons, so to speak, that can win against the matchups on this defense.
Well, then let's look at the other matchup. The popular pick was, man, the Seahawks. They're going to upset the Panthers. Here come the Seahawks again, and they got smacked in the mouth from the jump. And yeah, it got close at the end, but they never had the ball to tie or anything. I mean, that is a little alarming that they let that many points up. But I mean, what you think they thought they were going to lose that game when they're up 31-0? I mean, they went out and hit the best NFC team in the last 2 years in the mouth. I just think that I like Carolina in this game. I think it's going to be very close and very good. But I'm done overlooking. I mean, I was done last week. I picked the Panthers, but I'm not overlooking the Panthers in the season they've had. I think this is Cam's year. I know that pains Al to hear that because of the division thing, but yeah, I think Cam's going to be doing that Superman pose for 2 more games, fellas.
Well, I mean, it's possible, but there's 3 phases in football, man, and I think that the Cardinals do all 3 of them better than the Panthers do. So they.
But not last week.
Not last, not last week. And you make a very good point. Palmer did look lost, and so did Arians. There were a few plays, especially on first down, when you're throwing a fade. You know what I mean? When you can keep the clock running. I didn't understand a few of the play calls that were made. I think they learned from their mistakes. I think they wanted to drive the nail in the coffin, so to speak, and just put Green Bay out of it. And it almost backfired on them. I don't think that they will take that same type of mentality going into this conference. I think they consider themselves very fortunate, and blessed to escape, so to speak, out of that divisional conference playoff game. I do. I see 32-27, man. Arizona Cardinals over the Panthers here.
I like it. I like what you're talking about here, Wags. Got to have me some Carolina loss. I want to see the sadness. I want to see the Carolina blue tears dripping down the faces of these freaks.
Hey, and one thing, man. Everybody's getting on Cam, hating on Cam for taking that 12th man flag or whatever and throwing it. You know what I would have done to that 12th man flag? I would have wiped my ass. I mean, and I would have cordially handed it back to you and said, please don't put that in my face again.
Hey, sweet stuck on the screen there. He did the same thing. The last home game of the season was against the Bucks, and he took somebody's Buck flag or a Buck jersey and, I don't know, threw it or ripped it or something like that. But he should get suspended for the whole year next year.
What are you expecting someone to do, man? I mean,
you see what he did the Packers game? The dude tried to sue him, or he tried to press charges. He's like, "Oh, I made this Packers flag in my humble abode in North Carolina. I'm a Packers fan, and I spent $1,000 on it." And they're like, "Sorry, buddy."
Yeah, that's just 2 of the worst things in the world right there: being from Carolina and being a Packers fan.
Yeah, that's a bad combo. I just remember when we were American, we didn't catch feelings for everything. We weren't such. Oh God.
You're right. We need to talk. Well, I'm fine.
I wish we were still America.
You're good. You're Al Walsh. You're good.
Everybody else needs to toughen the hell up. This is ridiculous.
Come on, man. Seriously.
All right. So I think we're pretty much done here with the games. We can just have a little powwow chat here. you know, there's like Antoine Randall. They did an interview with him the other day, and he was saying he's like, "Oh, football was fun, but I could still be playing baseball." You probably wouldn't because you'd suck. But number two, he said too, he's like, we probably won't have football in 20 to 25 years. Well, guess what? Okay, the Romans back then, they used to kill each other for sport. Okay, nobody's dying here yet. You know, I mean, a couple people got messed up.
Where's the NFL gonna go?
A couple people got messed up brains, but they're still walking around. They seem fine.
I don't
What
know.
is it with these
That'd be a
Steelers
sad
when
day
they
if they
quit the
really
game?
eliminated the NFL.
What's up?
What is it with these ex-Steelers when they quit the game? Like Randall L. and Rashard Mendenhall being all like, "Oh yeah, boo on football." I don't think we should have celebrated when we killed Osama bin Laden. That's Rashard Mendenhall, not Randall L. But
Yeah.
just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that.
The whole concussion movie was based out of Pittsburgh, right? So maybe there's a little something there. But no, I just mean like, look, you know, if you told me as a football player, like, you would get any single woman that you wanted, you would have a sick contract playing a sport for like 5 months a season, and you get all this time off, yeah, I'd probably sign up for it. I mean, like, seriously, any single woman that you wanted, you could be like, listen, I'm playing the NFL, so we're going to Chick-fil-A or some shit, you know? Like,
you're gonna let me. You
could even get some waffle fries.
Violence. You know what I mean? You're gonna let me hit with organized violence? Yeah, I'm playing.
Just as long as nobody hits me, I'm good.
Trying to get you.
Just don't hit me, and we're cool.
I mean, you know, half of those chicks are just trying to have a baby so they can get that good paternity money, though. But I know what you mean.
I mean,
like, it's in the sin bin most of the time for boarding.
The sin bin.
Basically.
No one can see him coming.
You get penalty, 2 minutes, you go sit in the box, and you feel shame. Slap shot, anyone? No? Jesus.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Love the movie.
I was just about to call you guys terrible hockey fans.
Are you serious?
Almost. Well, no one responded. All right, so we're gonna end up doing a Super Bowl show, but this was the last daily fantasy show that we will have for this season in football. We will come back with some other things, take a little breather here, let everybody recoagulate their schedules. I know you two got wives and stuff you got to rekindle with on Wednesday nights. I don't know if Wednesday night was fun time and, you know, we had to cut it to the weekend or something like that, but, you know.
Bonefish, man.
There is an NHL show in the works for the Wagner Wire, man, if you guys would like to get on board with that. So.
Now, do you have a host set up for that?
I do. It's going to be myself and a guy named Ryan Allen right now, but we're always looking. I mean, it's not limited to 2 people. It can be 4. It can be 5. We're basically just going to come. It's kind of going to be similar to what you and Keith do with the NBA. You know what I mean? Only not just limited to 2 guys here. We're going to 2 shows a week based off of the most games on the slate for the week.
Nice. So Wags has been killing it in the NHL. What's the secret sauce right now?
Man, I'll tell you, a lot of people think it's all about the stars, man. It's not. It's about the line mates. So, everybody's out there, they think, Jonathan Taves and Patrick Kane, that's great. They're both awesome players. But guess what? Taves is on the top line, and Kane actually plays on the second line. So a lot of people don't realize that. So, you're not going to get the tic-tac-toe play from those two that you would get, with Patrick Kane with, say, like Parnan or somebody, maybe on the second line of the Chicago Blackhawks. So what I like to do is actually take that second line of the Blackhawks and pair them up with the top scoring line of, say, like the Capitals or the Stars. So
I'm laughing because we started talking about hockey and all of our live viewers went
dropped.
I told you, no one likes hockey.
Well, it happens, man. It happens. It's a dying market.
Sweet. You got any plans for the break until, I guess, maybe baseball?
I mean, I'll probably just be playing a lot of NBA. I like to ask you for some tips nightly. Like I told you before the show, I'm trying not to play every single night because that hasn't been too lucrative. It's been a little
Right.
more lucrative when I pick my spots and play the
Yeah.
nights where I actually like my lineup, So, yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of that. Ready for baseball, getting ready for baseball. So,
baseball. Yeah, I
I
cannot
can't
wait
wait for
for some
baseball.
baseball. I was on such a heater at the end of last year, and then
You were, dude. You were ripping it, man.
and then September rolled around, and holy Jesus, man,
Ripping it, man.
it did not go so well. But yeah, I mean,
same
like,
here.
what's crazy is that like football, at the point when I was doing pretty well, a projection sheet was in the mix, so I was able to take a look at that and formulate some things. But baseball last year was all just us talking,
It
like
was research. Yeah, it was research, bro.
that was all OBP and on base and all sorts of
Lefty
things.
righty
So,
matchups, all that junk, man.
Yeah, well, you gotta. There's so many variables, uncontrollable variables out there with baseball, man. That's where the show really, uh, just grew and got its birth from, man. I love baseball, man. I think that's where we flourish at.
my forte was East Coast rookie pitchers last year.
Yes, it was, son. Yes, it was.
Aaron Nola and Luis Severino.
Severino.
Can't wait.
Want you some funds.
All right, so we will be back probably not next week, but the week before the Super Bowl, since we got a 2-week break here.
We're not gonna do a Pro Bowl show.
I mean,
just kidding,
it
fellas.
is
just
on
kidding.
DraftKings. It is on DraftKings.
Just kidding. Is it really?
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting in the mix.
Hey, look.
Yeah, I know you got a lineup for 2 in there.
We lost all of our live viewers, but the people that watch the replay of this, get proactive within your state, get ahead of this DFS thing, the right to play, so to speak. Like I said, be proactive, man. Call your attorney general or write them, say something, fight for your right to play, man. It's your freedom, dude. What's the difference between this and the lottery? Guess what? You got more info here, especially if you come watch our show.
Yeah, that's nice. Like, call your, local congressman and then threaten him and his family.
Exactly.
And maybe they'll listen.
They won't. Just tell them you won't vote for him, or her.
Oh man, good stuff. All right, we'll be chatting with you folks on Twitter and whatnot, and I guess that's it for tonight. For the rest of the Big 3 DFA show, I'm Al Walsh. We're Adam Wagner and Chris Sweet. We gone. Peace.
Later.
Deuces.